live once again. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. I'm Mobile Geezer, which I'm sure you know because you're on my channel. And glad to have you aboard. If you're new here, we do this every Friday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time from the U.S. But we have people joining from different parts of the country and different parts of the world. And like right now, Renz is in here. And Renz is over in the Philippines. So, all right, Renz, I guess, is at work. Been listening over my iPhone mini via Bluetooth headset. Okay, yeah, Renz is at work. Glad you got there safely, brother. And Eleanor just popped in. So she just wanted to stop by and say hi before she goes to bed. Yeah, she gets up early for work tomorrow morning. And since it's she works in the retail, she's got a busy time going right now. And Vince just popped in right behind Eleanor. Glad to have you here, Vince, as always. You guys are so fun. And there's Annette. Boy, here come all the regulars. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate all you guys. Ren says hi, Elmar. He says hi, Vince. Annette says hello. He says hi, Annette. Okay, guys, I love this. Please keep it up. And guys are making an effort to be on time and everything. I think that's awesome. I thank you very much. Now, for anybody who's new, every Friday night, we go over some of the tech stories from the past week, and I pick out stories. Sometimes I pick out the hot story of the week like everybody else, but this week I don't think there was any particularly hot story in tech this week. And there's Don. Don's in here. Glad to have you here, brother, as always. All right, so we've got California, we've got Tennessee, we've got the Philippines, we've got New York, and we've got Oklahoma. I think it's Oklahoma, right? Okay, so we're spreading it around nicely. I like it. So anyway, I pick up either a hot story and a few stories that I think you may not have heard everywhere else, or I just pick up stories that I think are interesting. Yeah, I was right. It is Oklahoma. Thanks, Don. So this week we had no big hot stories, but we did have a few stories that I thought were interesting. And let's see. If you want to follow with the show notes, you just go to my website. Let me get rid of my branding a little bit. So get that out of the way. And share my screen. So if you go to my website, which is mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, where am I? Okay, mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. And click on the first story, which has today's date, and it'll pull up all the show notes for tonight. So tonight we're going to go over, give you a little highlights here. About 5 or 6 weeks ago, I told you about Matter, which is a system where all the big home tech makers are trying to get a standard that can be used for everyone. So according to Google, they released some Matter things this week, and I said, update Google enabling Matter devices smart home standards integration is almost a reality. The reason I said that is I can't find it because you'll see in the story they talk about it, but I don't see anything particular product that we can actually see this on yet. So that's why I said it that way. Then we're going to talk about TikTok. And Eleanor and I were talking about it just the other day. I think she just removed it from hers. And it seems like more and more states are banning it for their employees. Well, now the Senate has just banned TikTok for federal employees. So we'll go over that story. And back to our RCS that we've talked about. I said updates RCS on Apple. Don't hold your breath, because Apple is allowing some third-party vendors, and part of the EU's new rules, is that they have to allow some messaging, but I don't think they're going to allow RCS just yet. Maybe, my guess is never, but we'll see. After that, Amazon has some Black Friday prices on Google phones and the watch and the earbuds also, which I didn't bring with me today. But those Black Friday prices are still there. And as of yesterday, I think they're there right now. We'll take a look. And it doesn't say how long this sale is going to last. So I thought I'd better tell you guys about it. And this is mostly on the 6A, the 7, and the 7 Pro. So after that, we're going to, I just thought it was a good idea. Google has Family Link, which is basically parental controls on Android. And I thought it might be a good idea to give you parents a little article, which is kind of a primer on Family Link, to get control of your kids' online habits. So just thought it might be good to show that. And our final story is going to be Big Tech not liking California's new law protecting kids. I don't agree with the California government that often, but I agree with him on this one. So we'll see, but you'll see why Big Tech doesn't like it, because it affects their money. So let me turn the stop screen for a minute. Go back, put my branding back, so you can see Super Chat is wide open, just in case you want to donate. And let's see. Okay, and also, Mike already let me know, and I think he said it in his vlog today from the car. He won't be on tonight. He's getting ready to do his Christmas brunch, which he cooks. So I think he's out shopping to get all his ingredients tonight. And I was just about to say, I don't know if Ted's going to be here. And look who shows up in the dark.
Hey, what's up, guys?
He likes to have a dramatic effect.
What can I say? I'm not making entrance.
Is this still the Pixel 7?
I wish. No.
Oh, okay.
How was the? I need to see last week's stream. If you think this was the Pixel 7, like was it really that good last week?
It was very good. It was very, very good. Yeah, we told you that a couple of times. All right, so this is DSLR, I assume.
Yeah, mirrorless. Yeah.
Okay. So nice entrance as usual.
Yeah, with the lens, I just got back. I tried to sell this lens. The buyer was like, changed their mind, and they sent it back to me and a refund.
Okay. So they were going to buy it, and then they said men's amends on the lens. Okay, I got it. I can't help it. You know me. Oh, well, we're glad the lens is still working beautifully. That's for sure.
Yeah, his loss.
And the lighting is very good today. So did you hear me say Mike will not be here?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, he won't be here tonight. I gather he cooks a brunch for Christmas for the family, for large family, and he's out shopping to do his get ready for his cooking. So that's why he even said in his vlog this morning. But he told everybody to watch us, so we're good. I'm glad you're here. So of course, we don't know whenever Will's going to join, folks. We just get lucky sometimes, so we'll see. And Ren says, "Hey Ted, Ren was the first one in. Eleanor's in here, but Eleanor's getting ready to go to bed because she's got a long day at work tomorrow." And Annette's in here. Vince is in here. All the regulars showed up right on time too. So, well, most of the regulars showed up right on time. So, I was very happy about that. So, you have the stories, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the first one is going to be on Matter. I guess I'll take that one because I don't understand why they even bothered, but they put it out there. They put it out there 2 days ago, I think, and 3 days ago. Anyway, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. And eventually we're going to have nice home integration between Amazon and Google and Apple, but not quite yet, I don't think. So I'm going to share screen. This is on Matter. Let me put the whole thing up here. And this was on The Verge. So let me click the story. Okay. So Google Nest and Android devices are now Matter compatible. So actually, they're actually putting this stuff out. So you'll understand what I'm. This confuses me quite a bit. So Google says it has already updated millions of Nest devices, including my Google Home and Eleanor's Google Home, and billions of Android devices to support the new smart home standard. So you can now connect your Google Home devices to any Matter compatible product.
Ooh.
But can we really? Because do we even know which are the Matter compatible products? Well, kind of. You'll see what I mean as I go through. So let me put this in reader view, get rid of some of these ads. Okay, this was by Jennifer Patterson, and this was on yesterday. Google announced today that it has completed the initial rollout of Matter to its Google Nest products and Android OS. So my Google Home, I gather, got it. This means the Matter smart home standard, first developed by Google, Apple, Samsung, Amazon, and others, now has the foundation in place to start delivering on its ambitious promises, interoperability. And that's the key here. That's what this is all about. Simplicity, security, and a smart home that just works. Over the past few weeks, Google has updated millions of Google Nest smart speakers, displays, and Wi-Fi routers, as well as billions of Android phones and tablets to Matter. The company says the transition will be completed today. So don't get too excited, folks, because right now, the only one that has actually done this, there's 3 of them, and everybody hasn't done it yet, but I don't think they've given us anything that we can actually run it on yet, but you'll see what I mean. Says the transition will be completed today, December 15th. This was yesterday. Android devices need to run Android 8.1 and up. Google Play services 224814, which I checked all my phones, they're all on that. While Google Nest devices need the latest firmware updates. I have not figured out how to check that I have the latest firmware devices, but I think I do on my Google Home. The update means that Android and Google Home users can now connect Google devices with Matter devices from other manufacturers. Okay, so it says all of Google smart speakers and displays now support Matter. Along with Google Home app, with the Google Home app and Android OS, these Nest devices are the first to gain Matter support as Matter controllers. Nest Mini, Nest Audio, Nest Hub, first gen and second gen, Nest Hub Max, Nest Wi-Fi Pro, Google Home, which I have and Elma has, and Google Home Mini. I think Elma has the Nest Hub, I think. Google says more Nest devices, including Nest Wi-Fi and Nest Thermostat 2020 model, will be updated in 2023. The update also turns the Nest Wi-Fi Pro, Nest Hub Max, and Nest Hub Second Gen into Thread border routers. Thread is harder for me to understand. Matter devices can connect to your network over Wi-Fi or Thread. Those that use Thread need a Thread border router to communicate with non-Thread devices and the internet. Okay. Google also announced it will bring Matter support to its iOS app early in 2023. Currently, you can only use an Android device to pair Matter devices to Google Home, so only to Google Home. But once a device is on your home network, you can control it with any Matter-compatible iOS app, including Google Home. I didn't ask you anything. It thinks I'm talking to it. And you'll see, I don't think there's anything to control yet, but you'll see what I mean. As part of the update, Fast Pair on Android is also gaining Matter support to help you quickly add a new gadget to the Google Home app and other Matterable compatible apps such as Samsung SmartThings. Google is the third of the big four smart home platforms to enable Matter control on its devices and mobile phones after Apple and Samsung. So Apple, Samsung, and Google all have enabled it. Does it allow us to do anything? I don't think so, not yet. Amazon said it will enable its smart speakers and displays as Matter controllers over Wi-Fi by the end of the year. So another week and a half, 2 weeks, with Thread support coming in 2023. The first device categories that will work with Matter include smart plugs, switches, and bulbs. So I should be able to get my bulbs working, I would have thought, but I guess not. Smart thermostats, motorized window shades, and smart locks. You'll be able to recognize them thanks to the new Matter badge, which indicates it will work out of the box with Google Home on any Matter platform. So, of course, nothing I bought previously has this Matter badge. I guess from now on, when you go to the store, you'll see that badge on these products. But don't say goodbye to that works with Google Home badge just yet. If a company has integrated and tested their products with Google, it will also have the works with Google Home badge. Yep, badges are still a thing, so we can't say we don't need no stinking badges. Okay, what exactly will this mean in terms of different functionality in different apps remains to be seen. So I don't think we can actually use any of this stuff yet. I mean, they're making a big deal that they're releasing this stuff, but I don't see where we can use it yet. Matter is a new smart home interoperability standard that provides a common language for smart home devices to communicate locally in your home without relying on a cloud connection, which we told you weeks ago. It uses Wi-Fi and Thread wireless protocols, and in its first rollout includes smart sensors, smart lighting, smart plugs and switches, smart thermostats, connected locks, and media devices, including TVs. And I saw a video somewhere else that basically said the TVs aren't working yet either. All of this means that if a smart home device you buy has the Matter logo on it, you should be able to set it up and use it with any Matter-compatible device in any Matter-compatible platform. So as near as I can tell, if you buy the new stuff, TVs, whatever, speakers, and it has that badge for Matter, then you should be able to connect it. But as far as the stuff we've already got that came out before this, I don't think so, not yet. Matter-compatible devices should start becoming available toward the end of this year. So go to the store, maybe they're there. Amazon Alexa, Google Home, Samsung SmartThings, and Apple Home are some of the big smart home platforms signed on to support Matter. Apple, Samsung, and Google have updated their compatible hubs to be Matter controllers. And we expect to see updates arriving on other platforms shortly. I did go out and look on YouTube to see if anybody showed you how to connect any of this stuff with Matter. No, there's a few people talking about it, guys who do a lot of home automation. Nobody shows you anything, so I don't think there's anything to show yet. We're still waiting on Matter devices, and that's what I think is the key here. While we now have a host of Matter controllers, including Google speakers and displays, HomePod Mini, Samsung SmartThings hubs, and Amazon Echo speakers and displays coming later this year, we don't have many things to actually control with them yet. I don't think we have anything. No, you can't control your HomePod Mini with your Google Home app or your Nest Hub Max with your Apple Home app. Smart speakers aren't a device category in Matter yet. As of Monday, December 12th, there are only 3 devices from Eve that work with Matter. I want to make an evening joke, but I won't. But more devices are coming. We've rounded up all of the announced Matter-compatible products here, and we expect to see a deluge of new products and updates to existing ones announced at CES. So I'm thinking, yes, CES is where we're going to find out what we can really use and use with Matter. Once there are more gadgets to play with, Matter's multi-admin feature will allow those devices to work cross-platform, which is what this is all about. This will mean you can do things like control your Google Nest thermostat 2020 model in the Apple Home app. There's still no word on if Google will update the Nest Learning thermostat to Matter. While all of this might be very confusing, I'd say, to anyone who hasn't been following it closely over the last 3 years, the point of Matter is to make setting up and using your smart home devices a lot simpler. Will it, though? We'll start finding out soon. So we can't find out yet. That's the bottom line here. So they're making a big deal out of rolling this stuff out, but we can't do anything with it yet. So
Not yet.
Go ahead.
Yeah, not yet. But I think the horizon's getting closer and closer.
It is getting closer, and they are trying to make a big deal out of it. But I'm like, well, if you're going to make a big deal out of it, give me something that I can use it with. But they haven't done that yet. So I just find it very frustrating. Say it again.
It is a big deal, though.
It's a big deal. Okay, here's my point. If you're going to give me something that's a big deal, and I agree it is, then give me something I can use the big deal with or on. They're not doing that. As you could probably hear, I am very, very frustrated by this because I have Amazon and Google Home speakers here, at my house and here at Eleanor's house, and I want this stuff to work together, but not yet. Go ahead, Ted. You look like you want to say something.
No. I was just marveling at myself. I was wondering, like, is this side a bit too yellow?
Are you too marvelous? Is that what you're saying?
Like, is this too yellow? That looks a bit too yellow.
Let me see what Ren said. I heard hub. Yes, that's true. So it should be working with, I guess, a Smart Things hub at some point with their hubs in general, but nothing seems to be working quite yet. So I wanted to start with that because I guess it is a big deal. But if you guys are like me, you're going to be very frustrated.
Okay. Unfortunately, Renz, the deal is not for you. The hub deal is not for you. So hopefully you don't have to pay full price. Currently, I think Verizon, maybe Google Store, but certainly Walmart is doing a deal for, you can get the Google Nest Hub for $50. Okay. Where the original price is usually $100.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think Eleanor has a Nest Hub because I think we replaced her original Google Home last year, I think. And I still have my original Google, and both of those supposedly got updated. He said I was thinking of a different hub.
You're thinking of hubcaps.
I was thinking of hubby, but we're all different. Okay. Let's see. That's all the comments we have. Yep. You want to take the TikTok story?
Oh, happily, yes.
You don't have to. I'll take it if you want me to.
I'll take it. I'll take that TikTok story happily. Yeah, don't take that.
All right. The way I titled it, the next TikTok government ban, no longer just states, Senate bans TikTok at federal level. This is just government employees, but they are doing it at federal level, and that's the first time. And thinking of making it bigger than that. So this is on CNET. Let me
share the screen, please.
Yes, I'm about to do that. And there we go. This was on CNET.
CNET by Andrew Block.
Yep. I'm going to put this in reader view, get rid of something. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, look, it has the author's name this time in the reader view.
Yeah. Sometimes it does lately. I noticed that.
All right. So the U.S. Senate on Wednesday passed a bill that would ban the TikTok app on federal government devices. The bill, introduced last year by Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican of Missouri, was passed by unanimous consent. Wow.
That's right.
Let me say that again.
Yeah.
The bill introduced last year by Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican of Missouri, was passed by unanimous consent.
Right.
That means, Renz, that all 50 people in the U.S. House of Senate agreed.
So we still have some small miracles happening here.
It must pass the House and be signed by President Joe Biden before it becomes law. Many lawmakers have concerns that the social video app and parent company ByteDance, based in China, pose a national security threat because the app collects large amounts of data on its users, including location data, and could share it with the Chinese government. TikTok has repeatedly denied that claim. Once again, Senator Hawley has moved forward with the legislation to ban TikTok on government devices, a proposal which does nothing to advance U.S. national security interests. We hope that rather than continuing down the road, he will urge administration to move forward on agreement that would actually address his concerns, a TikTok spokesperson said in a statement emailed to CNET. The bill was passed by the Senate the day after a separate bill that would bar TikTok in the U.S. entirely was introduced by.
So it's not just now here. We're not talking just government. We're talking banning it entirely. So I think there's a lot of Republicans and Democrats on board with this, and has been for quite a while. So.
It was introduced by lawmakers in both the House and the Senate. A growing number of states have already taken action against TikTok, barring the apps on government devices at a state level.
Which California did last week.
Hey, California, liberal law, California.
Yep.
The bill passed the Senate the day after a separate bill that would bar TikTok in the U.S. entirely. Let's see. A growing number of states have already taken action against TikTok. Yeah. And on Thursday, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, a Republican, banned TikTok from the state government devices as well for what he calls new information about the depth of the Chinese Communist, the CCP's involvement with TikTok, and the resulting threat that the TikTok poses to the government's cybersecurity. The ban came in a memo to state agency heads. CNET obtained a copy of the memo from the governor's office. The new ban extends to the messaging apps. Oh, boy. Oh, WeChat and Telegram.
Yeah, and Telegram. That surprised me.
No. Well, looks like I have to look for another messaging app. For what the memo says are similar threats identified on those platforms.
Right. So they found something on Telegram that I don't think they ever saw before. That's my guess.
WeChat and Telegram did not immediately respond to a request for a comment. In November, FBI Director Christopher Wray said that TikTok could be used to control data collection on millions of users or control the recommendation algorithm, which could be used to this is the true part of the whole article.
Exactly.
It could be used for influence operations if they so choose, or to control software on millions of devices. Yeah. At the time, a TikTok spokesperson said the company was confident that we are on the path to fully satisfy all reasonable U.S. national security concerns.
Now, keep in mind, this FBI director is a Democrat, but the last FBI director agreed with him too. So I think you're going to find a lot of people from both sides on board with this, and they seem to be finding more and more stuff they don't like. I was shocked to see Telegram on here. So
yeah, what does everyone do about Telegram? Damn.
Yeah. I guess it depends on what they found, but that's the first time I've ever heard anybody mention anything that they actually found something. But obviously, they found something they didn't like.
I mean, that means we can't be using Telegram if we work for the government. If we happen to work for the government,
at some point they haven't banned it. Well, yeah, it does say that. What does it say? The ban, they have banned it. So yeah, if you're a government employee, you won't be using those two either. Now, WeChat, I know, is Chinese, and I've seen other videos where WeChat and especially ByteDance, which owns TikTok, is full of CCP leaders on their board. So maybe that's the problem. I don't know.
Oh no, WeChat and show the camera, George. Take down the article. You can take down the article.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say WeChat and China are like this, like the
exactly. Yeah, and WeChat I've seen last week I watched a couple of videos, and two of them said that ByteDance is full of CCP. ByteDance's board is full of CCP members, and who was the other one?
Huawei.
Yes, Huawei. Yeah,
but yeah, like with WeChat, to the extent that you have to actually be careful what you're telling to someone.
Exactly.
If you're messaging someone that's living in China, don't send them pictures of Winnie the Pooh.
Exactly. Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh is banned in China
I didn't know that.
because people use them to make fun of President Xi Jinping.
Deep in the 100-acre wood where Christopher Robin plays. That's so wrong. That is so wrong. I've always loved Winnie the Pooh, so just me. So anyway, let's see. Brian's here.
Yes, that is good news of the week.
Yo, Brian, glad to have you here, brother.
Any TikTok users, this will be a good time to diversify, get off a sinking ship. You will be welcome.
Eleanor surprised me the other day. She actually removed it from her phone, and she always loved her TikTok stuff. Now she gets a lot of Christian TikTok stuff, but we were just talking about it after dinner, and she just took it off.
Yeah. I'm like, usually, before it was just like, 2 years ago, it was like, oh my God, all these TikTok creators are going to be losing like, what their income or whatever. But
exactly.
But Instagram and YouTube have filled up the gap nicely. Like they're waiting with open arms, like in the event TikTok.
Absolutely. You can bet they're dying for us. Sure.
They're just salivating at the thought.
Exactly.
Like,
Okay, I am going down to the next story. Let me share screen again.
Let me see the next.
And we're back to our RCS discussion, but it's based on kind of a new article. So let's see. Ren said hi, Brian. What did Ren say? That's why I don't. You don't use TikTok over in the Philippines. If I'd be installing the app, I'd use a burner phone. Okay, so I guess over in the Philippines, they don't trust it either. Okay. I guess about Winnie the Pooh, I had no idea. Okay, back to our discussion about Apple and RCS. And this was on 9 to 5 Mac, and this was just from 3 days ago. So let's see if I can put this in. I have a couple of articles that won't go and review it, but I think this one will. Yeah. Okay. Apple not currently considering adopting RCS. I'm sure Will's going to be very upset, despite EU law requiring iMessage interoperability. This is by Chance Miller. This is from 3 days ago. A new report from Bloomberg today says that Apple is planning to open the iPhone up to third-party app stores for the first time. And that was a big deal this week. A lot of stories on that. The report, however, also says that Apple hasn't made a decision on how it may open iMessage and its Messages app to third-party services, which is part of what the EU wants them to do. Like the App Store changes, this is something that would be required under the new Digital Markets Act in the European Union. The Digital Markets Act was approved by the EU Parliament earlier this year. It lays out a number of new requirements for platform owners like Apple, among other things. Like it says, like Apple, not just Apple. Among other things, those requirements include support for third-party app stores and interoperability for services like iMessage. The DMA outlines that companies will have to open up and interoperate with smaller messaging platforms. While today's report from Bloomberg says Apple's support for third-party app stores on iPhone could launch as part of iOS 17 next year, the company is still undecided on how or if to comply with the Messages aspect of the legislation. So they haven't even agreed to do it yet. Now, one possible way of complying with the requirement would be for Apple to adopt the RCS standard supported by Google and other platforms. Apple, however, isn't currently considering this as a possibility. Apple hasn't, however, made a decision on how it may open iMessage and its Messages app to third-party services, another requirement of the DMA. Engineers believe that such a change could hurt end-to-end encryption and other privacy features offered by iMessage. I wonder if that's true. I guess it could be. The company also isn't currently considering integrating RCS or Rich Communication Services, a message protocol that Google and others are pushing Apple to adopt. Remember last week we had the story where Google was trying to embarrass them into adopting it.
Yeah.
If Apple fails to comply with aspects of the DMA, the EU is threatening fines of as much as 20% of a company's annual global revenue if they repeatedly violate their. And they've done stuff like that before, taking pieces of their global revenue. The DMA is set to go into effect in the coming months, but companies have until 2024 to comply with the laws in their entirety. So I still don't think Apple is going to accept any RCS. I think they're just absolutely not going to do it no matter what. I think they're going to have to do something with iMessage and interoperability, but I don't think it's going to be RCS, but that's just my guess. What do you think, Ted?
I think might be a sign that maybe, I like what the EU was doing with the whole USB-C charger.
So do I.
And I like what they were doing with the, third-party app stores,
Right. Yeah, I agree.
But forcing companies now to alter their services.
Yeah. Now, and they can do that to a degree, and I think Apple will conform, but I think there's got to be a lot of ways to conform with iMessage to the interoperability without using RCS, because I think they're absolutely adamantly against RCS on iPhone. That's my guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, the EU didn't force RCS, and so they just said, find a way for iMessage to work with, I don't know, Facebook Messenger, which is it's a very big ask, I think. Like that's where
it's a very big ask, I think. Yeah.
I think now we're in the danger of overstepping because in the end, there's nothing stopping from users to just use
using
the app.
It, exactly.
The apps on how it works. So
Brian doesn't think they'll add it either, and he's saying only by force will they. I don't think you can force. You can force him to do something with iMessage. I don't think you can force him to use RCS though, and it will be kicking and screaming against the EU. Yeah, I agree 100%. So, yeah. And going back to our last story, finishing up, Ren says, "Don't get me wrong. A lot of people here use TikTok daily." Even my youngling uses it. I just don't want to share all of my phone's data all over to China. And that's the problem with TikTok. TikTok collects all this data, and pretty much everybody knows it goes right back to the CCP, which is what they want.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Oh, I don't know if I can share something.
If you share, I'll get it out here. If you share where I can see it.
Share screen. Easiest with 2 monitors. Share screen. Select Windows or screen.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if I see it pop. If it pops up here, I'll share it.
Oh, container, StreamYard, entire screen. Maybe I should just no contain. No, that's the.
Can't do. But you should be able to share a screen even if you're not using 2 screens. I think there you go.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this guy was talking about this whole thing. Who is he? He's an app developer building Delta and what's that? AltStore.io. Oh.
Okay.
So his take is this is it, folks.
Wait a minute. I messed up my share screen. Let me stop screen. Now wait. I've already added. No, that's wrong.
Hey, where are you going?
What am I doing?
By the way, today's stream was brought to you by Blackwater. Don't just settle for any old water. Get colored water, and not just any old colored water.
That's old news. That's last week's sponsor. I see what happened. You're not sharing it with me anymore. I have 2 of you. I don't have that shared screen anymore showing up here. There you go. Now leave it there. Don't touch it. Okay. Now let's see if I can share that. Okay, so what? No, that doesn't work. All right, I added this to the stream. Oh, wait. No, I think I do have to do that. Now, if I go to share screen.
I can't see what hold on, let me see what you're doing.
Are we seeing it now?
Yeah, I see it on the. Hold on, no, I can't see it. That's.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
now
I see it. I see
okay.
it.
All right,
Oh
I think you're in control of scrolling it. I think. See if
yes, I
scroll
am.
up and okay, yeah, you've got it. All right. So what are we looking at here?
So we're looking at this tweet thread by this Riles fellow,
Okay.
uh, developer of some sort of alt store IO, home of apps that push the boundaries of iOS, no jailbreak required. So it looks like his thing is making an alternative app store for iOS. Huh.
Really?
Yeah.
And how many people are using it? I wonder.
No idea, but you can download Alt Server for Mac OS and Windows.
And you can download this to iOS devices, I gather.
Yeah, like he's saying, no jailbreak. So download an alt server on your computer, then install it to your phone. Install,
Okay.
okay, and launch also to begin downloading apps.
All right, catch the name, folks, who's interested. ALTSTORE Alt Store.
Yep. Anyway, so that's the developer.
Interesting.
Now the dude, which this law affects him the most. He has thoughts.
Okay.
His thoughts is this is it, folks. Side loading is coming to iOS, at least for our EU friends, and maybe full-blown third-party app stores too.
Yeah, so that's perfect for him. Yeah, I agree.
As someone who's been running a third-party app store for the past few years, this will greatly affect me. So he has thoughts. Let's see his thoughts. First thought, to state the obvious, yes, I want side loading. Duh.
Yeah.
On my iPhone, I want to install fun apps like emulators that Apple won't allow in the App Store on my iPad.
And
I want
hopefully he makes some money out of this.
All this work just so you can pretend to be an Android user when you could just be an Android user.
Yeah, but he's helping open up to iOS, and obviously Apple is starting to get open to the idea. So I think it's good. Now you did okay.
They don't deserve it.
Okay.
At the same time, I really love the App Store. Having a single place users trust, despite its flaws to install basically anything, is incredible and plays a significant role in iOS security. And for devs, not having to handle payments ourselves or figure out distribution is huge.
Cool.
Some argue third-party app stores are the compromise, but in my opinion, that's a sledgehammer approach. Many people choose iOS for a secure, curated app store experience.
Right.
Any app store changes should respect this, but full-blown third-party stores will disrupt this experience for everyone. I mean, they would only disrupt it if they download it to begin with.
Oh, here, Renz knows about this. Renz is saying AltStore is an open source app. Was using it before on Android, and it's like APK Pure. Okay, so I guess you can use it on Android or iOS.
Let's see.
Thanks, Renz.
But users can choose not to use oh my gosh, that's what I just said.
Yeah, exactly.
But users can choose not to use third-party app stores. Well, not quite. If, for example, Meta made an app store that they'd want exclusive apps, unfortunately, these apps don't exist yet. So what can they do in the meantime? Pay App Store devs to leave the App Store, of course.
Pay them to leave the App Store?
Yeah. And it wouldn't just be Meta. Every app store would want exclusive apps to compete. And because literally all iOS apps are currently in the App Store, there's simply no way to amass a competitive app library fast enough without poaching App Store apps.
Okay.
Here's what I see happening. Instagram, they've moved to they would do that, wouldn't they? Meta. I don't know. I don't know if Meta would do that. They moved to Meta Store for obvious reasons. So you can no longer receive updates unless you install Meta Store. That note-taking app you've been using for years.
I think the EU would slap that down in a hurry, don't you think?
I don't know.
I think they would. Brian, thank you as always, sir. Very much.
They're tired of paying, let's say, the note-taking app you've been using for years. They're tired of paying Apple 30%, so now they're an Epic Store. Now you have to use 3 different app stores or else you lose access to the apps you're already using.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm still not to see what's the problem, though, like having to use 3 different apps.
But you still can go get them. Yeah, that's the thing. And you don't have to pay 30%.
I mean, yeah, as an Android user, this has been done before. Now you have to use. So yes, it's a choice, but the choice is not, do I use third-party app stores to get cool new apps? Instead, is do I use third-party app stores just to keep my current apps? I don't know. I think this is more just Apple, like just crying about their first world problems.
Yeah, yeah.
I strongly believe a better approach is to allow just side loading, albeit with restrictions. I don't need to be able to side load apps directly on device. If I really want a compiler on my iPad, I'm okay side loading it by plugging my iPad on my Mac or whatever. In this scenario, there's little incentive for successful apps to leave the App Store. The process to sideload apps would deter the less tech savvy, reducing their potential user base. But for apps not allowed in the App Store, like my own app Delta, they can finally exist.
Exactly, exactly. And I do agree with him about sideloading as long as you have some rules around the sideloading.
That all being said, the headline does say Apple to allow outside app stores. So who knows?
Exactly. So yeah, so I'm thinking he should be able to do this, I think.
Oops, sorry. Last mistake. The process is set. In this scenario, there's little incentive for successful apps to leave the App Store. The process to sideload apps would deter the less tech savvy, reducing their potential user base. But for apps not allowed on the App Store, like my own app Delta, this can finally exist. That all being said, the headline does say Apple to allow outside App Store. So who knows? We might be living through such a scenario in the near future after all. Or, and I'm just speculating here, there's always a chance Apple does what they do best, be petty.
Well, it sounds like Apple is trying to be less petty. At least I'll give them credit until I change my mind.
Here's the DMA section, sideloading. I read this to mean Apple must make it possible for users to install third-party apps or app stores through means other than the App Store, Apple App Store. Exactly. Apple could just allow sideloading apps without also allowing full-blown app stores.
Yeah, so they have to allow some kind of side loading, obviously.
So here's a section. The gatekeeper shall allow and technically enable the installation of effective use of third-party software application or software application stores.
But you see, the main phrase there is effective use. Who defines what's effective use?
Or interoperating with its operating system to allow those software applications or software application stores to be accessed by means other than the relevant core platform services of that gatekeeper.
Or software application stores to be accessed by means other than, okay.
In this world, power users could sideload one-off apps like Delta. That's his thing.
Exactly.
Without a mass app store exodus. This would essentially preserve today's status quo because the App Store would remain the way to install apps on iOS. Right. But while I personally believe that limited is the right balance between flexibility and security, it doesn't matter what I think. Apple is clearly going to comply with this law. The only question is how they'll comply. Yep.
My impression is, and I could be wrong, my impression is Apple is going to allow some type of side loading. At least that's my impression.
Yeah, because they have to by law.
Exactly.
So,
Renz, thank you as always, sir. Thank you very, very much.
Follow. Let me bookmark this as well, but give this other guy. Maybe I'll go follow him. Oh, where's he? Where'd he go? Boop. All right.
Are we done with this one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, okay, we're good. Okay, that was interesting. No, I'm very, very glad that you found that. And I'm glad Renz knew all about Altstore too. Cool.
Yeah. Twitter is good for, it's getting harder and harder for Twitter to put out gems, but it still does.
Yeah. But I did agree with Elon today when people were actually sharing his data and this guy jumps on top of his car while his kid's in the car. Yeah, I'd say you have to block reporters sharing that information. And he only blocked them. He only suspended them for a week, so they were all upset. I'm like, you're putting the guy's family in danger here, folks. Don't you think about that? Anyway, that was just my take on that. All right, moving on to the next story.
I wouldn't know the story. I was going to talk about the time. Have you had multiple app stores, George?
Have I had? No.
Never?
No. I've always been the Freddy cat type. I've always been the cowardly type when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Even when you had a Windows phone?
Yep. No, I never had a Windows phone. Never, ever had a Windows phone. I had co-workers that loved Windows Phone, and a guy who used to make computers for Eleanor and I at work. He loved Windows Phone, but I never had one.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
personally for me, yeah, there was a point. Now I don't. It's been a long time since I bothered having to have to bother
Right.
with it. But yeah, there was a time. What was the phone? What was the phone? Of course, Axon 7.
Okay.
I can't quite remember if it was anyone's after that, but Axon 7. One time I had the Amazon App Store, and of course, always good one to have just in case.
Yeah.
I don't have it on me right now. Is
And a lot of people had the Amazon App Store. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
because there were apps that were free that you had to pay for in the Play Store,
Exactly. Yeah.
and oh yeah, the FOSS, the free and open source app store repository.
I heard of it. I never went to it.
So yeah, it's a good place to get if you're looking for free open source apps that you want to know is safe to download. Yeah, get FOSS, guys.
Even still? No?
Even still, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, like managing apps wasn't a problem. Like, I would obviously just go into if I wanted to, obviously the issue is that, I have to go to more than one place to, update all my apps. But
right.
in my case, it's just, I'm going to the 3 places.
Okay.
The free, and I just go to FOSS to, tell it to update all the apps. Then I go to Play Store, tell it to update all the apps, and then I tell the Amazon to update all the apps. Or, you could just set it all automatically and it's not even an issue.
Now, if you're sitting in a window and downloading using FOSS, does that make it fossil? I can't help it. In reality, I think I've actually sideloaded anything ever, maybe 5 times in my whole life. That's it. So I've always been the one who was afraid to do it, but I've sideloaded probably 5 things ever, and that's it.
No, yeah, I've sideloaded tons of things. Again, not so much now. Like, I guess my jailbreaking and all that rooting days are all behind me. But I will say, Android, Google was very late in the game for they would allow side loading.
Right.
But it took them a long while for them to do it in a way that was actually safe for users.
Right.
Like if you enable,
that's why I always stayed away from it for so long.
Because you could side load, turn on the tick to side load, and that's it. It's permanently on. Like they didn't tell you to
exactly. Now you can just turn it on and turn it off as soon as you're done. Yeah.
Like I remember, I actually got a guy. I almost ruined a guy's phone like that. I sideloaded something for him. I forgot to turn it off. Hey, we're going to come to that, Renz. I forgot to turn it off when I went to give it back to him.
Oh boy!
And fortunately for him and his people around him, he liked to look at porn, everywhere doing the job.
Ooh.
And the porn back then, like pop-ups.
Sure.
Yeah, so when he finally gave it back to me, like he was like, "Hey, there's something wrong with it." He had 15 apps that he installed without him knowing, like just trying to get rid of the pop-ups. So
yeah, exactly.
So I'm finally Google's learned, when they ask you about the side loading and then they turn it off immediately after.
Yeah, exactly. So were you able to clean it up for him?
Yeah, so I clean it up.
Okay. Flappy Bird, Renz, that's a good one to start with, I think.
Wait, can you? Oh yeah, can you? I don't know. It's too old now.
It's probably too old now, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think it would be supported.
A lot of people were into Flappy Bird big time.
Yeah, and the guy the legend, he just took it off. He was like, "Screw this! The money is not worth it."
Yeah.
Like people are actually selling their phones marked up at high prices just because they could say they had the Flappy Bird app on it.
Well, yeah, I remember everybody was into that for a while. That's true.
And then he just deleted the app.
Yeah. We ready to move on?
I wonder, maybe that should be our weekend homework. See if we can install Flappy Bird.
There's your homework. But you heard him, folks. Don't let him back out.
No, that's for Renz. That's for our audience members. Yeah. Instead of
Renz, he wants you to see if you can.
Instead of the question of the day, we have a assignment for the day. See if you can get Flappy Bird. Let's see.
Take the pressure off Ted and put it on Renz. I got it. Okay.
All right, next story.
Okay. All right. I'm going to back to my sharing screen. And I've got the story. Okay. And this one, I found this. I was surprised, but there's still Black Friday prices on latest Google phones are still in effect at Amazon. As of this morning, that was still true. No telling how much longer. And this was a story I found on CNET. So I'm going to bring it up here. And this was by Max McHone. I like that name, McHone. That's a cool name. Sounds like a movie name. Let me go into read review. Okay. Now, before we do the story, let me go click on the Amazon link, if it's still here. I can get the link from here. I can. Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can hit that link and make sure it's still on sale. If we can go there. Okay. Yeah, it's still on sale. Matter of fact, when I went this morning, I saw it was $4.99, which was where the sale was, and now there's one at $491.50. So the sale is still on and still good, folks.
Wait, hold on, go back. Do they allow trade-ins?
I didn't see. Payment plans about this item.
No, looks like it's not.
Doesn't I don't see anything about it.
Yeah, they don't.
And at this price, I can understand that, but that's a pretty good savings there. So I just wanted to double check before I read the story that it was still good. So nobody knows when this sale is going to end. So I'm going to go over this quick. If you already run your calendar, email, and cloud storage through Google, then it makes sense to use Google devices too. Whether you're in the market for a phone, a smartwatch, or earbuds optimized for Android, right now it's a great time to pick up one with Amazon offering up to $150 off Google's latest devices. Many are even back down to the all-time low prices we saw during Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which is true. There's no set expiration for this sale, but with deals this good, we don't expect it to last for long. So anybody who wants one of these, I would jump on this. All three of Google's latest phones claim a spot on our list of the best phones of 2022. The newest model in Google's flagship line is the Pixel 7, which is the one I have right here, which features a 6.3-inch full HD display, 15 megapixel camera, 8 gigabytes of RAM. Right now, you can snag the 128 gigabyte model for $499. That's a nice savings, which is $100 off the usual price. And as you just saw, there's one for $491.50. That's been there since this morning or last night. If you don't mind spending a little more, you can upgrade to the more advanced Pixel 7 Pro. It's slightly larger with a 6.7 QHD display and has upgraded hardware, including 12 gigabytes of RAM and an improved camera that was 5 times optical zoom and 30 times hybrid zoom, which the Pixel 7 does not have. Prices start at $749 for 128 gig, which saves you $150 compared to the usual price.
Ooh,
yeah, that's a nice savings. If saving money is your number one priority, you can go for Google's already affordable Pixel 6a, which is also on sale. It's the latest model in the budget-friendly A series. While the specs can't quite measure up to the powerful Pixel 7, it's still an excellent option for most people. Has a 6.1-inch full HD display, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 12 megapixel camera. Right now, you can snag it. Now, get this. Sale for $299, saving you $150 compared to the use. That's what I'm saying. If you want a 6A, this is the time to get it, I would think.
Yep.
There are more than just phones on sale, too. This is also a chance to shop the biggest discount we've seen on Google's new Pixel Watch, which I'm wearing right now. Let me see if I can change that, which you can see me wearing right here. Okay. and fitness tracker. Because Google owns Fitbit, it offers many of the same fitness tracking capabilities, which include monitoring your heart rate, sleep patterns, calories burned, activity levels, and much more. Because it's powered by Google's Wear OS, it's compatible with tons of Google apps, including Gmail, Calendar, Maps, and Wallet. It's currently $50 off, dropping the price down to the new all-time low of $300. And that was asking me the other day in Twitter conversation if you could do some of these things from the Pixel Watch, and I said I think you can. So based on what I'm seeing here, you should be able to. And she was thinking of more of smart home stuff from the watch, but I think you can. Looking to complete your collection of Google devices, you can snag a pair of Pixel Buds, which A series, while they're on sale for $69, $30 off the usual price. And I know Mike has the A series, and he likes them. They feature 12 millimeter dynamic drivers, adaptive sound that automatically adjusts the audio based on your surrounding environment, and battery life up to 24 hours on a single charge. And I don't have the A series. I have the Pixel Buds Pro. And because they're optimized for Android devices, you can use them to get directions, check your notifications, and more just by asking, "Hey G." So if you're going to snag any of these, folks, I say this is a great time to do it. And the sale is obviously still on. So go for it if you're looking to get into that.
I think someone asked me, was it either Brian or Renz, how I was liking my where that? So it's right here. Oh, I missed it.
What do you?
There we go.
Okay.
My Pixel 7. Hey.
Yeah. I absolutely love mine, and I'm not sorry I didn't get the Pro. One thing I tend to like is flat screens over curved screens, and with the Pros, always the top ones, there's always curved, and so once I don't have a curved one, I'm very happy about that. What are you doing?
Well, I'm just saying I like it very much is all.
I love it. I love mine absolutely. Big House is in here.
Hey, Big House, what's up?
Yo, Big House, glad to have you here, brother.
But yeah.
Yeah, the Pixels, Big House, those Pixels are on sale at Amazon, and it's not saying how long they're going to be on sale. So if you want a 7 Pro, or a 6A, jump on it, brother. I mean, you're talking $100 to $200 savings.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is like how much better, the selfie camera is like on any phone I've ever used. It actually makes me excited to, because I used to not care about the selfie camera because I always thought this one I'm actually using it. I've used it quite a lot.
Yeah.
The cameras are great stuff too. And there's also the things. Since I've had this phone, which is about 3 weeks, I haven't gotten one spam call.
There you go. Yeah.
Not one.
Mike loves that.
I forgot what those are like. So that's a big thing. The only con I have with so far is really just the battery life. On
this? Oh, I have no problem. Other people are having issues with Mike and I are having zero problems with battery life, but I do charge my phone at least once every day, and it's a habit. So, of course, if somebody's not going to have battery life, it would be me or Elmo's the same way. So.
Yeah, I don't know. A power user like me, like I have to charge it like, definitely twice a day.
Okay.
It doesn't have the stamina of my V60 that's for sure.
Sure. Okay. Makes sense.
But then again, 90 hertz screen. So it's
exactly.
And what I also noticed is that, the brightness, I always have to turn it up a bit higher than when I go outside.
Now, see, I don't, but I tend to keep my brightness up almost top on all my phones all the time. So maybe that's why I never use adaptive brightness. It drives me crazy. I want it bright, and I want it bright 100%. That's one thing I have in common with Flossie. Flossie's the same way, I know.
But otherwise, I definitely recommend the Pixel 7. If you care about, if you do like using telephotos, then I would, the upgraded price for a Pixel 7 Pro, because I'm, no, actually, buyer's remorse. I kind of wish I got a Pixel 7 Pro to play with that telephoto sensor because
Yeah,
ooh,
but
look
see,
at
you're a
that.
photographer, so it'd make
Yeah.
more sense for you. Me, I don't miss it at all because I haven't had it, and I love this phone the way it is.
How do you not miss it? You used it all the time on your Galaxy S24.
I did if I have it, but since I've had this phone, I don't have it. I don't miss it. But yeah, I did
Because you
used to use it.
don't, 'cause you don't have. How can you miss something you've never had, George? That's an
No,
oxymoron.
I don't have it on this. I've had it on other phones, but since I've never had it on this phone, I don't
You
miss it
can't
on
miss
this
it.
phone.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That's a play
So,
on. Let's see. Oh, anything on the comments? No. But yeah, again, I got this for $4.99. Well, $5.99 because I paid an extra $100 to get 256 gigs.
yeah.
I have to trade in my iPhone 11. Where is it? I think I'm going to shoot the video as soon as we're done with this
Okay.
of my iPhone 11 so I can get $494
Yeah,
back.
I shot my comparison between the Z Flip 4 and the Z Flip 3 days ago, and I haven't even had a chance to put it back up yet, but I will tomorrow. And tomorrow the Flip 3 goes back or gets traded. So, and yes, I have the 6 Pro also. And we're glad you're here because that's for sure. Okay, on to stories. Where is my okay? You want to do the family link story about the parental controls, or you want me to do it?
I will do the next one.
Okay.
The last one.
It's the next to the last one, actually.
Yeah, no, I'll do the last one about the big tech not liking California's new law protecting.
Okay, then I will do this one. Okay, gotcha.
Thank
All right,
you.
I'm going to share screen. Not that screen, this screen. Okay, let's put it over here. And I just thought it might be a good idea for those of you, like I know Ren's has younglings. I thought it might be a good idea to share this family link, which is parental controls on Android. So I found this on Android Authority, and I just said a bit of googly help in managing your child's online life. So let's go to Android Authority, Android parental controls, a guide for parents. Keep tabs on your kids' digital habits, all from your phone by Adam Burney. And this is from 2 days ago. So I'm going to review. Hopefully, this is one of the ones I can do with a reader view. Are you going to give me a reader view here? Okay. Okay. Children today are growing up with access to more devices and information than most of us had in our time. What happened to? Don't mind me, folks. Something happened with Ted. He went out and came back in, I think. All right, let me continue. However, exposure to unrestricted levels of digital technology can have consequences for a child's cognitive development and risk exposing them to inappropriate content, that's for sure. Android smartphones have parental control tools to ensure your kids use them safely. This guide will explain how parental controls work on Android devices and how to use them effectively. Now, I may not read every single thing in this, but I just thought you guys who have kids should be aware of it, or maybe you have friends who need to be aware of it. The short answer, you need a Google account to use parental controls on your child's Android device. Download Family Link on both devices and sign in with your Google account to link devices. As a parent, you can set daily app limits, restrict content, monitor your child's location, and more, all of which are detailed in this guide. What are parental controls on Android? As a parent, it's completely understandable to be concerned about the digital habits your child develops. Between cyberbullying, misinformation, too much time spent online, and other potential harms, ensuring your child interacts with as safe an online environment as possible is essential. Thankfully, there are many things you can do to ensure that your child is protected. Out of the box, Android phones come with several parental control options, from locking their device to limiting screen time. Additionally, there are tools to help ensure that your children only access age-appropriate content and cannot compromise the security of their devices. Good. When setting up your child's Android phone for the first time, you can set up their device with Google's built-in parental controls called Family Link. You can install the app from the Google Play Store if Family Link isn't pre-installed. Once installed, follow the steps below to set up Family Link on your child's device. So I'm not going to read all of this, but you go to settings and select digital well-being and parental controls, and that's where you'll find Family Link. And this shows you what parents can see or do, what parents can't see. You can't see what's on your kid's screen from your phone. You can't see their search or browsing history. So you probably want to put some restrictions on that. You can't see or restrict Google account passwords. Can't read their emails, and you can't listen to their phone calls. So be aware of that. So you got to get familiar with Family Link. Once parental controls are set up on your child's device, you will have several options with Family Link at your disposal. Let's familiarize ourselves with the basic tools. Bottom of the homepage, 3 main sections: highlights, controls, and location. Highlights will show you the most recent activity, blah, blah, blah. Controls contain most of the meat of the app, which we'll dig into in the next sections. Lastly, locations will show you a map with the current GPS location of your child's device. Okay. How to restrict apps on Android phones. After using installed Family Link on both your and child's devices, you can set time limits for specific apps, outright block which apps you don't want your child to use. Additionally, your child will need your permission to install apps from the Play Store in the first place. I like that. All right, so you can always read more on this topic. You get to approve apps. You get to set app limits. It shows you how to restrict content on Android phones, how to set up parental controls passcode for Google Play. So that's a good thing for you to have a control passcode for Google Play so your kid can't get to the store without you. And then there's some facts. So let's go back and get the name of this article. Take it off. Read it view. All right, so remember, this was on Android Authority, and it's under guides and how-tos. It's called Android Parental Controls, a guide for parents. So you can either go to my website, click on today's date, click on the story, and get you there, or you can go to Android Authority and look for this story. But I think it's a good thing to have if you want some control of your kids' digital life. So just want everybody to see that that's there. Stop screen. Okay, let's see if there's anything new down here. And we're talking about the 6A and 7A. Vern says hopefully the upcoming 7A will be priced as the 6A with those hardware updates. I hope so. Okay, Ted,
It's
you ready?
Yeah, it's a good tool to be sure. I do
Absolutely.
believe the children are our future.
All right, so now we're down to our last story, and this one is for you. And this is, let me get back over here. I want to present screen. Okay, and this was on CNBC. And I want to share this screen. There you go. Okay, Ted, whenever you're ready. Oh, let me go into, no, this one I cannot turn on reader view because this is one of those rare stories where you turn on reader view and you don't see the story anymore. So I have to leave it this way.
Really?
Yeah,
Let's
I'll
see.
try it once more. I think all it does is tell me about cookies.
Not cookies.
Yep.
Not cookies.
Yeah.
Not cookies.
So
not
I can't use reader view on this one, but I think it's a story worth sharing anyway. All right, whenever you're ready.
It's all right. I got it. Safari shows me on there. We review the whole story.
Okay.
Doesn't show me that. By Lauren Feiner, tech industry group sues to block California law designed to protect the kids online over free speech concerns. Huh.
Oh, let me give you the bottom line here. The big tech companies, Google, and they're against it because it's going to hit them in the pocket because they can't share as much to get kids money. That's what this is all about. So I'm on the law side this time. Go ahead.
Let's see. Net Choice previously sued Texas and Florida over the what are you doing? All right, let's go into the article. NetChoice, a tech industry group that includes Amazon, Google, and Meta, TikTok, and Twitter, announced Wednesday that it's suing California to block the state's new Age Appropriate Design Code Act, which it says violates the First Amendment.
In other words, it digs in their pockets.
Anyway, modeled off standards in the UK, the California law aims to establish rules that make the internet safer for kids. It requires the highest privacy settings to be turned on by default for minors and says that online services targeting kids under 18 must assess the risk of harm to those users that could come from potentially harmful messages or exploitation. The lawsuit adds to a growing slate of court cases involving free expression on the internet. Lawmakers are in many instances attempting to weaken the broad liability protections that online platforms enjoy for their content moderation efforts and their users' posts. Yes, finally, love it.
Yep.
Concerns over privacy and moderation issues extends across party lines, though Republican and Democrats still largely disagree on how they should be handled. While the California bill was passed by a majority of Democratic legislature, NetChoice has also sued both Texas and Florida over their social media laws passed by a majority of Republican legislatures.
Yep.
Those bills seek to hold tech platforms accountable for taking down posts on the basis of political views.
Yeah.
In California, the NetChoice alleges the new law will harm minors rather than protecting them, while also infringing on First Amendment rights to free speech by forcing companies to guess the meaning of inherently subjective terms from users. The state is empowered to impose crushing financial penalties if the companies guess incorrectly, the group said. The IRS. The state can also impose such penalties if companies fail to enforce their content moderation standards to the Attorney General's satisfaction. NetChoice says the law, which is set to take effect in July 2024, will produce the overwhelming pressure to over-moderate content to avoid the law's penalties for content the state deems harmful. The over-moderation, the group says, will stifle important resources, particularly for vulnerable youth who rely on the internet for life-saving information. Yeah, that don't sound good to me.
They're just using the right words, life-saving. Oh, then you got to give that to kids.
Yeah, I don't know. Like if it's a matter of life and death, I don't want the kid to be using the internet.
Exactly.
Ooh, like if look what the harm adults do. Like look at Kyrie Irving.
Exactly.
I expect the kids to do it right? No.
Exactly. This is where we want the parental controls to kick in along with this law.
A representative for California Attorney General Rob Bonta's office defended the law in an email statement. The measure provides critical new protections over the collection and use of their data and works to address some of the real demonstrated harms associated with the social media and other online products and services. We are reviewing the complaint and look forward to defending this important children's safety law in court. The language in lawsuit echoes concerns voiced by a range of civil society groups against a federal bipartisan bill that also seeks to impose protections for the kids on the internet. Those groups warned of potential harm to the rights of LGBTQ community, in particular, fearing the parameters of content filters could be influenced by political preferences. The lawmakers leading the federal legislation sought to address some of the concerns in a new version of the bill released Tuesday night, though some dissatisfaction with the changes remained. Florida and Texas laws that NetChoice opposes seek to poke holes in the tech industry's broad liability shield, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which protects the rights to moderate content, but not be considered a content publisher,
Exactly.
Republicans have been trying to impose greater restrictions on social media companies for what they see as censorship of conservative views on the most popular sites. Mainstream
to me, that's a totally different story than this story in California. So, yeah.
Let's see. Do mainstream platforms have repeatedly denied biased enforcement of their community rules? And independent research has shown conservative viewpoints often dominate. Yep, that is true. Often dominate online discussions. The Supreme Court in May blocked the Texas version from taking effect, though it didn't rule it on the merits of the case. And Florida's version has so far been blocked by lower courts. The Supreme Court could still choose to take up the case against both state laws. In the meantime, it has announced it will hear 2 different cases next year that implicate Section 230 protection and could potentially weaken it.
So what I resent here is they took the California law protecting kids and started conflating it with the 230 law from Florida and Texas. The two things have nothing to do with one
That
another,
is
in my
true.
opinion. So, but I think this is a very good law on California's part. I think they've done a good job here, and I like the Attorney General's attitude is in that they look forward to defending this in court. I like that attitude. I think that's great. So,
Yeah, I say yes, something like this is certainly needed, especially if it's for an apps or stores that are tailored specifically for kids.
exactly.
Like maybe if it could just be narrowed down, so it's like like instead of just focusing like for example, YouTube in general, focus it down to just the YouTube Kids app,
I agree.
which I actually just saw for the first time.
I've never seen it really.
I never saw it in action. No, like I know what the app icon looks. I just never actually saw the app. But yeah, I was the family was down from Chicago, and they came, and I saw like parents just hand off their phone, their old phones that they don't use anymore to the kids, and
yeah, exactly.
the iPhone is now the babysitter in a sort of way. But when I saw it, like some of the stuff that came on there was kind of questionable.
Really, what kids that age shouldn't have been seeing it.
Yeah, like I didn't really. Well, yeah, it was. I didn't think it was appropriate. Like it was like on age. I would say like age. Like I would expect, for it to be YouTube Kids, and
Right.
like parents will sit with their kids to watch us. So that means the aim should be E for everyone.
I agree.
Some of it was, maybe year 7. A lot of it was, PG. There was one that particularly stuck with me was like kids were being used to like, like portray like, a COVID virus spreading around.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the things like, whoa, what the like that was like, whoa.
It sounds like pushing it a bit.
Yeah. That was definitely pushing. I was like, like it made me a mental note, like, don't be handing YouTube Kids off to anyone, like, like just PBS.
Yep.
The PBS app.
Brian says about our last story, money grubbing. I agree 100%, Brian. That's what that whole thing is about.
They're just, I think it's more of a money grab. I think they're just scared.
Yep.
They're scared. They actually
I can see I can see their point in that they don't want to go overdoing it, but I think having some protection for the kids is a very, very good idea. That's always a better idea than not having it.
Yeah, definitely over moderate for the kids,
Yeah,
they're on the side of caution. But like look at the trouble like YouTube has enforcing the rules that they put in place for themselves.
Exactly.
Like who was that mass shooter that was in the New York subway?
Yeah.
Who's always had a channel, and when you look through his history, it was like he had years of controversial, like clearly against YouTube's policies.
Yeah, exactly.
And
and that's the thing. If it's not some kind of political argument, one side or the other, they don't seem to care what anything else anybody is doing out there. They don't seem to pay any attention to it. Yeah, Big House. Yeah, I agree with Brian and Big House 100%. Gee, for once we all agree. I think even if Will was here, he might even agree with us.
But yeah, so I'm just kind of like, ooh, it's a bit like funny, like, how these tech companies are going for like they can use the First Amendment protections here. But, when it's like banning books in school.
Exactly.
And it's a government, how come like the First Amendment thing doesn't go well over there? So
exactly. It ought to, you would think.
Yeah, that's why I'm a bit confused.
You shouldn't be banning over there if you had a First Amendment.
Yeah, especially if it's a government, like the government has to uphold. Like that's why I'm confused.
I mean, the last people in the world anybody would want banning books is the government. I don't care whose government it is.
Yeah, it's funny.
And then all of a sudden, you got Joe Stalin doing things. No, thank you. Okay. I'm going to come up with glowing rectangles, and I'm going to let you talk about it. I'm just going to share the screen. So there. All right, All right, I'm going to bring up glowing rectangles.
You're gonna have to click it, George.
Well, I got to get my cursor over there first. Okay, I'm good. All right, there we go.
All right, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
let me take off. Let me take off my. Wait, let me take off my branding stuff to get it out of the way. Okay, there you go.
Thank you. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, audience members, are you interested in having a bunch of YouTube stories about tech that is not curated by an algorithm, but instead viewers like you? Then head on over to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, and you can see stories upvoted, boosted to the top, and shared by like-minded tech aficionados like you. And go ahead and enjoy this content. Again, user generated, not algorithm generated. That's the important stuff.
Exactly.
Also, if you are a creator, feel free to share your own work to a new audience right here. Feel free to self-promote. And if we can go over to see what the top stories on the glowing rectangles subreddit is.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. Top story goes to Ike's weekly live stream, which I think is on a Wednesday.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't even remember.
To be honest, I've never seen an Ike live stream.
Okay.
I don't have it. I've actually seen Ike. Then the second story, let's go scroll past that ad.
Past the ad, okay. Yeah.
More Than Just a Phone podcast is live. Listen via Hubhopper. Okay, More Than Just a Phone. That just sounds like, I think I want to take a closer look at that later. Actually, can we click on it now? Let's click on it now, George.
All right.
Yeah, I've never heard about this.
And first time I heard about it.
Yeah, click on the link right there, the Hubhopper podcast.
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's see what it is. What's this podcast about? My new podcast is finally live. Hit the play button. Join me for a fun ride as I talk about what you can do with your phone to get more out of it than just calls and text. Our phones can be so much more than phones, and I'll tell you how in this part. You know what? That's not our will, right? No, that's not our will. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go and subscribe to that.
Okay, cool.
I always love to see what all the different things I can do with my smartphone. And let's see, going back to the subreddit, the third story.
Oh yeah, let me go back up one. Okay.
And the third story, a webcam that doesn't suck, the Insta360 link. So from what it looks, this looks like it almost looks like it's a PTZ camera, but
Insta360s cost too much money for me anyway.
Interesting. It looks like a PTZ camera, but it's
what does PTZ stand for?
Pan, tilt, zoom cameras.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But it's too small for that. But at the same time, like
they have a bunch of small ones, but to me they're all pricey.
It looks like it's also it looks like it's a gimbal, right? But why would you want a gimbal on a webcam? That's the funny part. It must be a PTZ from that look.
I think it is a PTZ. I remember looking them up once, and they were all. I thought they were all too pricey.
It probably follows you around. That's why it's like it has that shape. Okay,
yeah, that makes sense.
Suffice it to say, I will be watching it after the stream because I am interested. Maybe I'll hit them up to send me a review model. Yeah.
Okay. He's gotten 3 upvotes.
All right, and then we also have other videos by Anchorwork B600 video bar. What is that? That looks like an even heftier webcam over there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
My goodness, I'm gonna have to take a look at that too. And then finally, the Sennheiser Momentum 4 wireless. Those are the widest headphones I have ever seen.
Are they? Okay.
Yes, so white. Like who? Like they obviously give a case because it looks like if you just throw it in a bag, it'll get dirty.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yeah. See, I never use headphones because ever since earbuds came out, I can't stand having my ears covered with anything. So I never use headphones.
All right, that's it.
All right, folks. So if you want to post to reddit.com glowing glowing rectangles. You can post for yourself. You can post for somebody else. You can post a blog. You can post a video, and you'll get more exposure there. So
There,
if you'd
can you hit new? Hit to new. Hit the new. I think
oh, okay.
Mike might be there because Mike's stories come on here. Wait, is that us?
No, that's us right now.
That's us. Wow, we didn't even finish the stream. Look at that. It just popped up on there. Hey.
Yeah. Didn't
Scroll
know it
to
would come up that quick. I'm scrolling to see if I see Mike's.
no, don't see Mike.
Yeah, Mike's. Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a good 15 minutes today.
Brian says, "What up, Mike?"
So, just want everybody to see glowing rectangles. Let me get out of it now.
Oh, Mike is in the chat. That's why you were saying it.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's a
Oh,
beautiful
there's
one.
Mike. Okay.
Shame I
Yo,
couldn't-
Mike. Glad you got in here. At least you saw that we showed you on glowing rectangles. So you're there. We're there. So cool.
And look at the setup, Mike. I know you appreciate a good setup. So I was hoping, yeah, you could be would and nod.
Yeah.
Hopefully, don't expect to this each time. You know, I do need to get this beautiful lens sold. Oh, I'm still
We're glad you had it tonight, Mike. I hope you did well with your shopping for your breakfast, and of course, everybody's saying hello to you. Big House and Brian and Renz. And who else? Okay. Okay. All right. So anyway, glad you got in here, Mike. And thank God I had Ted for the whole broadcast, and that worked out very, very nicely. So, Mike, before you leave, type in the comments. Are you going to do next week's show? Because last week you were saying that you wanted to do the holiday show. So am I to assume that next week you'll be doing the broadcast? Let's wait a second to see what he said. Oh, and he did get his food. He's got the scrapple in the freezer. He was out to get that scrapple in Delaware. He said it tastes different, I guess, than Jersey.
What's scrapple?
Scrapple is a meaty, hammy kind of thing. You have to have a taste for it. I never liked scrapple myself, but obviously his family does.
One thing to say about the Pixel sales that's going on.
Yeah.
Google was offering, really good trade-ins.
Yeah.
That's why I got my Pixel 7.
That's true.
For this sale, they're not doing it anymore. So, you get the discounted prices, but not the great trade-in prices. So
yeah, it's one or the other. Yeah.
It's not one or the other. You don't get the other at all. You don't get the trade-in at all.
Yeah. No, I meant either you got the trade-in with them or you got the sale prices at Amazon. Yeah. Mike, let me know if you're going to be doing next week's show. And because if you do, I wanted to announce it now rather than later.
Yep. Speaking of trade-in, do you know what the trade-in?
And I do not have my iPhone with. Oh, yes, I do have my iPhone with me. I was going to tell him if he's texting me, I don't have my iPhone, but I do have my iPhone with me. So all three of my lines are with me. So if you're texting me instead, but I was hoping. Oh, he's telling you what scrapple is. It's all the parts of a pig grinded up. That's what scrapple is. Some people love scrapple. I never developed a taste for it. I haven't had it in years and years and years.
That don't sound attractive.
It's like Spam. I don't like Spam either.
Oh, Spam I can take.
Well, I was always forced to eat it as a kid, so I do not eat Spam.
Provided the person knows how to cook. Spam could be a great thing.
Well, my mother wasn't the greatest cook in the world either.
Okay.
She cooked some things very well, but that wasn't one of them. I can go pixel free if it annoys me too much. Okay.
But I was saying about the trade-in, like I was just, I was curious about, just shopping, sometime maybe wish list, 14-inch MacBook Pro. I wanted to see what the trade-in value of my Mac Mini was. 16 gigabytes of RAM. This thing has 512 storage, so it's not the base model by any means.
Right.
Under $300, $285. That's the trade-in value.
Well, how old is your Mac Mini?
2 years. Came in late 2020. So
Oh, I would have thought you would get more than that. Wow. All right, he's double checking. So I'm trying to hang on to see if he's going to tell us something, because here's what I'm going to tell you, folks. If Mike says now that he's going to do it next week, then it's all going to be on him. And if he backs out, then there won't be anything next week. But if he doesn't tell us it's all going to be on him, then I'll do it as usual. So I'm hoping that Patty tells him it's all right.
let's check out the comments. Big House personally bought a four Pixel 6a devices for a family since it was released. 4. Wow. That's a lot.
Where is it? I'm not seeing that.
Time mark 807.
Oh, 807. That's way back. 807?
807 for you is probably what, 907?
Yeah, it should be 907 for me. Yeah. 5, 6. Okay, there it is. Yeah. Pixel 6a from my first century. The family loves them. Great value. Everybody said hello to Mike.
But yeah, let's
Okay, here we go, folks. Here you see it. Mike says Friday Night Tech Talk next week on his channel. If he backs out, there will be no Friday Night Tech Talk next week. So I want you folks to be able to see that Mike said he'll be doing it. All right, he said, I want to make sure I didn't forget there was something else planned. Okay, so Mike's calendar is clear, and next Friday you'll be on Simply My Devices channel, and it'll be, I guess, a Christmas broadcast, because we'll be 2 days away from Christmas at that point. So next week it won't be on Mobile Geezer, it'll be on Simply Your Device. And as always, Ted, thank you so very much for being here this week. Thank you, all you guys. Brian and Renz, thank you for your donations to the channel as always. And thank all of you for being here every week. And yeah, Renz says, okay, Mike, FNTT Christmas special.
a Christmas
next week.
special. Don't you just
And
love
so I'm offering this simple phrase. All right, I'll sing that next week. Brian, thank you so much, sir, as always.
spam and eggs? That looks good.
Spam and eggs, yeah.
I've never actually.
Yeah, if I had to eat spam, I could eat it with eggs. Okay, super chat. Okay, thank you, Brian. I'm the proxy standing in for Mike for the super chat. All right, guys, thank you for being here. We'll see you next week on Simply Your Device with Mike. And thanks, Ted, once again. And boy, it's much better when you guys are here. Thank you, Don, very, very, very much. And Brian says, and the iPhone 14 Pro is greater than the Pixel 7 Pro. I haven't had the Pixel 7 Pro, but I love my 14 Pro Max.
Is it too?
Ted, they're expecting a Christmas sponsor next week. So just so you know it. Got a little pressure now. All right, folks, we will see you next week. Everybody have a very blessed weekend, and I hope all your Christmas shopping is done or gets done. See you next week on Simply